So when someone does a full listing optimization with Premium A Plus with a good hero image, they're attributing it to, oh, we did the Premium A Plus. That's why it's so great. That's why it's so awesome. Is it?
Yeah.
So unless you're strategically, incrementally going from hero image, cool, now image stack, cool, now SEO, cool, and then doing it that way, then you're able to see the actual path and roadmap as to why you're having success. Because if you don't know why something took off and is doing really well, how can you replicate it?
Yeah. So what's that timeline in between doing hero image and then going to bullets and then going to A plus content? How much time do you want to see people test that out in between those changes so that they can really attribute that change to the change that they just made?
Most agencies and most folks will never do it like that. For simple time, for simple streamlining the operations, no agency is going to say, let's just do the hero image and wait 2 weeks and see.
Yeah.
And then now that that's a lift, let's go attack your image stack and then wait 2 weeks. Most agencies and most folks want results yesterday. They're like, we don't want to wait for this kind of stuff. But for the people that understand how to replicate it or understand the desire to replicate success, they're okay with doing it that way, where it's like, let's do your main hero image on this one ASIN. Let's see where there's any sort of lift. Okay, we see a lift in click-through rate, but not a lift in conversion, right? Okay, what can we do to affect the conversion? Okay, your image stack is not saying all the benefits. I'm a big fan of benefits over features. Like if you're selling a blender, it does not resonate with my wife that this is a 4-speed horsepower titanium blade. No, it means nothing to her. That's a feature. A benefit is you can make soup in this. You can put whole vegetables in it. It'll never jam. Like that's the benefit. So I find that a lot of people that have high click-through and low conversion is you have a good main hero image, but then when someone lands on it, they're either confused or they're not sold as to the problem that they're having. And you have to sell people on the problem. Tapping into pain points is a massive thing that nobody wants to talk about, because if I'm buying a blender, for example, well, maybe I never had a blender before. And what's the pain of not having a blender? Or maybe I had a blender and it sucked and it broke and I spent a lot of money on it. So how are you taking those two problems that I'm having and addressing them in your PDP and your A plus and your image and all that kind of good stuff?
Yeah, which is, I mean, it's so important to have that to compel a customer to take that decision to go from a click to an actual conversion. Let me ask you this though. What should come first? This is our chicken and the egg. Do we focus on getting traffic to the page first and then focus on conversion rate? So you optimize that hero image and then you have all this traffic, now let's get them to convert more. Or do we focus first on having our conversion rate be super high and optimized and then go out and get the additional traffic to come in from the click-through rate? If you were advising just a panel of sellers on Amazon or anywhere else, what would your answer to that question be?
Yeah, so I'm a big fan of traffic. Even if your listing sucks, if you have more traffic, there's more eyeballs that are potentially going to be able to see and purchase. And some folks will not give a crap about your A plus content and you just have a really good deal, right? So I'm a big fan of following the ICAP. Stephen Pope talks about that all the time with brand analytics. It's, impressions, clicks, add to carts, purchase. I follow that. So impressions, that's the first thing I want. I could have the most beautiful A plus content, and listing in the world, but if no one's seeing it, what's the point? Yeah. So I want traffic, I want impressions, then I'm focusing on the click, then I'm focusing on the conversion of add to cart, and then there's the purchase.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Let's talk more broadly now, hopping out of the Amazon space. You talked about YouTube, and this is the top tier creators like Mr. Beast are thinking about this science of getting more people to see what they're already elite at. Yeah. It comes down to it, he makes the best videos that are on the internet, but he's thinking about what does my title say and what does that image say to people to get them to want to actually come in and engage and look at this. Maybe the biggest industry that is really looking at click-through rate is the Facebook ad industry. And I think that any agency who's making images or videos, for that matter, of people, they're looking at that click-through rate and maybe the attention span of people who come into that as well. They're actually doing that study. But it doesn't feel to me like you have a ton of people thinking about the science behind getting their product in front of people as much as you have people trying to just come up with a killer product. And that's particularly in the Amazon space.
Yeah.
Do you think that when we talk about like just CTR in general and click-through rate, that this is kind of an afterthought for most people, and that they have to really be sold on this whole idea of like what it is, why it's important, and why you should make an investment in that?
Yeah. So it comes down to like doing this for 15 years in the Amazon e-com space. It makes you look at things differently, right? Even traditional old school advertising, I'll just be walking down the street or driving down the road and I'll look at a billboard and I'm looking at it and I'm like, wow, that sucks. Like, how much did they spend on that billboard? Where are they saying the proper message? Like,
Yeah.
no, like they spent a ton of money. Or if you're looking at a bus stop and there's a billboard there on the side of buses, like, are people really testing if this resonates? If you can't tell, my metric of if an image on Amazon, going back to Amazon for a second, is good, can my 9-year-old know exactly what this is from this image? If he does, you have a great hero image. You have a great advertisement. You have a great whatever the offer you're putting out there. If my 9-year-old has no idea what you're putting out there, then that's my litmus test. So if in my eyes, that's not good.
Yeah.